Imagine a world where the first murderer, Cain, roams a cursed earth, yet somehow finds a wife to build a new life. Where did she come from in a world with only his family? This jaw-dropping mystery from Genesis has left scholars and believers reeling for centuries, and today on the final hour, we'll unravel the shocking truth that could redefine your understanding of humanity's origins. Buckle up as we dive into the ancient text to answer the question that haunted millions. Who was Cain's wife? Let's start with the biblical account. After Cain killed his brother Abel out of jealousy over God's favor, Genesis 4:3-8, God banished him to the land of Nod, east of Eden, Genesis 4:16. There, we encounter a pivotal moment. Cain made love to his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch, Genesis 4:17. But with only Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel mentioned so far, and Abel now dead, where did this woman come from in a world seemingly devoid of others? Before we proceed, make sure to subscribe to the Final Hour YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to never miss our deep dives into Scripture. Share this video with a friend who loves biblical mysteries, and let's get started. Cain's story is rooted in the fallout of his father Adam's sin in the Garden of Eden, not heaven, as some might mistakenly assume. When Adam disobeyed God, the ground was cursed, forcing humanity to toil for survival, Genesis 3:17-19. Cain, a farmer, inherited this burden, but his own sin amplified the curse. God declared, "When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth," Genesis 4:12. The very land Cain tilled, stained with Abel's blood, became the instrument of his punishment, withholding its bounty from the one who depended on it most. Like his father, who was expelled from Eden, Cain was exiled, cast out to wander without peace or a permanent home. He feared for his life, crying out, "Whoever finds me will kill me," Genesis 4:14. Despite this, God showed mercy, placing a protective mark on Cain and promising sevenfold vengeance on anyone who harmed him, Genesis 4:15. Despite his curse, Cain settled in the land of Nod, where he started a family and built a city named after his son, Enoch, Genesis 4:17. This moment of hope amidst his exile raises the central question: who was Cain's wife? The Bible doesn't explicitly say, but the mystery has two possible solutions. Let's explore both to uncover the truth. One theory suggests that God created other groups of humans, and Cain married a woman from one of these groups in Nod. At first glance, this seems plausible. After all, Cain feared others might kill him, implying the existence of other people. However, this idea crumbles under scrutiny. Genesis 3:20 declares that Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all the living. This title applies exclusively to humans, meaning all people descend from Adam and Eve. The New Testament reinforces this. From one man, God made all the nations, Acts 17:26. The notion of separate human groups contradicts the biblical narrative of human origins, so this theory doesn't hold up. The more plausible explanation lies within Adam and Eve's own family. Genesis 5:4 reveals that Adam had other sons and daughters during his 930-year lifespan. Since Cain's age at marriage isn't specified, it's likely that by the time he settled in Nod, Adam and Eve had more children, including daughters. In the early days of humanity, Cain would have married one of these sisters or a close relative, such as a niece or great-niece. This idea might seem shocking today, but it aligns with the historical context. In the beginning, humanity had to multiply from a single family, and marriages between close relatives were necessary. It wasn't until later, when the population grew, that God introduced laws prohibiting incest, such as those given to the Israelites after the Exodus, Leviticus 18. Ancient Jewish tradition, like the Book of Jubilees, a non-canonical text from 135–105 BC, supports this, naming Cain's wife as his sister Awan, though this isn't part of the Bible. Cain's story mirrors the broader human struggle after the fall. Just as Adam and Eve's descendants multiplied through close familial ties, so did humanity after the flood, when Noah's sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their wives repopulated the earth, Genesis 9:1, 10:1–32. In both cases, early intermarriage was a necessity until the population expanded. Cain's wife, whether a sister or a more distant relative, was undoubtedly a descendant of Adam and Eve, fitting the biblical narrative that Eve is the mother of all the living. The ambiguity in Genesis leaves room for speculation, but the most logical conclusion is clear. Cain married within his family, a practice that was unavoidable in humanity's earliest days. We hope this deep dive into Scripture has shed new light on this ancient mystery. If you found this fascinating, give this video a like, share it with your friends, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to The Final Hour for more biblical insights, and we'll see you in the next video.